It's connecting.
Is it?
Yeah, give it just a second.
Maybe.
It'll turn.
There we go.
All right, guys.
Hello, everybody. It's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. We're running late. We have an excuse.
We have an excuse. Yeah, give me just a minute here. I'm having a...
I've
already been sitting in front of this thing for over an hour, so...
Yes. So tonight... we
have special guests with us tonight.
Yeah, we're going to bring them in a few minutes.
There we go.
So what have we been doing this week?
This week?
Nothing.
Oh, no. It has rained every day this week, including today.
Yeah.
We have done a lot of stuff this week, though. I mean, we got the gardens all took care of. We got the peas plowed. Oh, we got all the grass spread for the cows. We've got all that stuff done. You canned sweet potatoes this week. We went and we picked up your... or was that last week? No, it was this week.
It was last week, last Saturday.
Last Saturday we picked up your birthday present, but I have worked on it this week.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, Danny bought me a sulky. We thought it's called a sorry, but I think you figured out it's called a sulky.
Sulky, it's called a sulky.
It's a little cart-like...
One horse carriage.
Yeah, carriage. And Danny's redoing some of it, making it where it would be safe to leave outside for pictures and things like that. And no, we're not getting a horse.
No, we're not getting a horse.
So... There's Levi Goss. I see a lot of people popping in. Buddy from Gemini Homestead.
Yep. Hello, Mr. Buddy. And I eventually got all the boxes, Mr. Buddy. So you'll know, you'll know and understand. Thank you so much for that. And guys,
You've actually been working in the shop.
I have worked in a shop a lot this week. Yes.
Put up stuff.
Been going through stuff, putting up stuff, working.
You painted a little on the cabin.
I did. Y'all are gonna think this is crazy. Wanda wanted a candy corn cabin to start with.
I just didn't know how candy corn.
She just didn't know how candy corn it was going to end up getting. So in the near future, you're going to be able to see the new color of the cabin. Now, it may take me a while to do it, but you'll get clips along as we go, especially if you're on Patreon.
Patreon's already seen it.
Okay, Patreon's already seen it, so you'll be able to see the new...
What was it called? Was it called Spice?
No, it's called... well, we started off with Redwood, and Redwood didn't work.
Yeah.
And then we went to Frontier. It's called Frontier.
I thought it was called Spice.
Nope, it's called Frontier.
Well, it looks like a pumpkin spice.
It looks like pumpkins. If you can picture our cabin looking like a pumpkin color, then
hence the pumpkins on the thumbnail.
Yep.
No, not really. I was just grabbing something.
Wanda's been sitting in there visiting with her very dear friend Michelle. And
I forgot
and
we
she
had
forgot we had a live stream, and I got through. Mr. Billy and me has been shooting podcasts for the last hour.
Messed it up.
We messed it up. We realized after 30 minutes into it, we forgot to hit the record button. And that's what happens when you're having a good time.
Having too much fun.
And then me and Billy had to re-record the whole thing, which I think the second one probably turned out better than the first one did.
It usually does.
But you know, Billy and I finished 4 minutes before.
4 minutes before we started.
4 minutes we had to go live, and I go in there and I said, Wanda, are you ready? I got to run to the restroom. And she goes, oh my God, I forgot. I don't have a thumbnail.
Michelle and I got to talking, and I didn't even have the computer up. And 4 minutes before 8, I'm trying to get the computer up, and I said, I don't have a thumbnail. I don't have a topic. I don't have nothing. And y'all don't want to know some of the topics that Billy and Danny threw at us.
Yeah.
I said, no, we just put surprise guest. So if you don't know who we're talking about, it is Billy and Michelle from Perma Pasture Farms. And I'm going to let Billy come in and talk for a little bit, and I'll dart back in here in a little while. And I do have a conversation of friends that's going to be on Crazy Days with Michelle. She and I did that earlier this afternoon, and... I'm going to let y'all talk, and y'all talk permaculture. Y'all want to know something about permaculture, just ask these two.
Okay, well, we'll let Mr. Billy come in here then. Billy and I will sit down for a few minutes here.
Thank you.
Well, Billy, here we are back again. You and I have sat in these seats. We just changed chairs this time other than a while ago. Billy and I have been shooting podcasts for the last, hour?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere close to an hour. But we spent the whole day together today. We have... had some of the best conversation I think I've had in a long time with anybody. That's one thing I appreciate about Billy is the simple fact that we're like-minded. We can sit down and we can carry on an intelligent conversation with each other, and we understand one another. And that's the That's hard for me to find today.
It is for me too. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, good night. I mean, I spend, like when I was back working with my tools still, you know, you spend all this time looking for good conversation is the first thing I look for and the last thing I find.
Yeah.
Just about every single time.
Same here.
So when I come across somebody that I think is a kindred spirit like you, where we're talking about some very, very deep esoteric stuff.
Oh yeah,
that
we can never talk about on here.
No, but I'm floored that even in this crazy world of the esoteric, you know more about it than I do, which is just about on everything, just about that same way on everything. So it's been a real blessing to be here. They always say in permaculture, go to Zone 5 if you want to learn permaculture. I go to Deep South, and it's folks, I'm telling you, this is where it's at. It really, maybe I shouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, guys, this is the gentleman here that creates the magic that we call bone sauce, and he is the one and the only. And I have to attest, since we've used the bone sauce, now we haven't put any new out in over a week, and it rains every day here. Now I may wake up in the morning and everything's gone. I don't know, but so far, not even the raccoons, the possums, or the foxes have even come to eat the persimmons of the tree that we put the stuff on. And that was my #1 test right there, because every year I trap and catch around 5 to 6 possums and 5 to 6 coons every year, and see foxes underneath these trees eating persimmons. This year I've not seen one since I put the bone sauce out. Now I don't know if it was actually intended for that, but it definitely has worked. I haven't even seen a rabbit in my sweet potatoes.
Well, I had strong suspicions that it worked on rabbits, but this new batch, we just dropped off a quart jar of this latest batch that we made, and this one was made. Danny's the only human being on Earth that knows what the secret ingredient is. That I think is going to set this stuff even on a higher level. What do you think? I mean, being a
after hearing what you actually used in it, I can actually understand. I can understand your thinking behind it, and I do believe that that there's probably some wisdom in that, in what you're in the ingredients that you're using there, and it makes me understand it a lot more. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the process. I don't care to know the process because I'm not going to make it. You know, I mean, I don't see myself making it unless we get some sort of LCE happens and I can never get a hold of you again. You know, everything goes down. I would figure it out.
You got a life. I guarantee you would figure it out. But don't use any of the recipes online. You're going to have, in fact, I'd probably even tell you. I mean, I'm not going to tell the whole world because honestly, I can think of from the top of my head, I can think of a list of reasons why I shouldn't do that. But honestly, this stuff works, and I think this new batch that we have is going to really go on another level.
I think what the problem is the deer quit coming. So, I mean, the foxes have quit coming. Everything's quit coming here. I told myself, I hope I'm able to even kill a deer this year. But what I did notice, I will say this, they have not been back in the garden. And I made a comment to Wanda. It might be on even one of our videos. I don't remember. But I made a comment to her. I said, we haven't had any deer back. And I walked down to my pond, and the deer are still coming to the pond. They're eating the acorns on the other part of our property, all around the other part of our property. They jump the fence. They come down to the part of the pond. They walk around our greenhouses. They come over there, and they eat around them because they can't hurt anything over there. And then they go back the way they come. They do not go like they used to go through the pea patch and all that kind of stuff, through the sweet potatoes. They just don't do it anymore. And so it is working. And guys, I know y'all are saying, Billy, we want the recipe. We want the recipe. He's not going to give you that. First of all, I wouldn't let him on my channel anyway. And secondly, I don't know. They want to know whether bone sauce work for moles and for moles and bowls.
There's honestly a lot of things I really don't know about it. The only thing I have been able to guarantee is deer. I'm hearing some strong evidence. Obviously, if it comes from Danny, that's as good as gospel to me. So I know, and Michelle's also noticed that it works on rabbits. Now I'm sending out testing this week for people that do have groundhog problems and some other things. But by and large, I mean, we're seeing some pretty positive stuff now. I saw a comment a moment ago. Somebody said Sepp Holzer came up with bone sauce. No, he didn't. He did, but he didn't. He made it. He made the world know that it existed. But this has been going on for thousands of years in Austria. But the recipe we use, we invented. If you use most of the bone saw, you're welcome to try. If you use them out there, you're probably going to come up with a great deal of failure when it comes to clay pots and stuff like that. We basically invented the way that it is being done right now, and we make it in very small batches. In fact, a single pot yields 12 ounces, and it takes a lot of time. So people are thinking, hey, can I afford this? Or, hey, folks, it's what we got to charge, because honestly, I can't do it for free. And even then, if you counted up the time, I'm really not making, I got to charge something for my time, and it takes time to do this stuff. So it's not cheap, but it has to be that price. But hey, it's not a bad price to pay when the stuff lasts for 30 years on trees.
Yeah, I mean, you stop and think about when you lose a whole crop to predators and wildlife and stuff like that, what's that worth to you? I mean, to me, the sweet potatoes is a staple for us, and we lost them right up front this year. Our harvest this year is only half of what it should be, so which means I'm going to have to buy some sweet potatoes from somewhere. But once we got a hold to the bone sauce, we've not had any more problem with deer. I mean, I have to be honest, we've not had any more problems.
Can't tell you what an endorsement that is. I absolutely am thankful for it. And, you know, it's doing better than I ever could have thought. And we've concentrated. Sepp Holzer's version does it a certain way. We've been able to concentrate that stuff maybe 5 to 10 times more than the original version of it. And you can thin it out if you want to, but I ain't thinning nothing out. How about you?
No, I'm not thinning it out. No, a lot of people would try to skimp and thin it out. I'm not going to do it. I mean, we have put it out, and it has rained every day, and it still works. You know, I can't complain. So, guys, if you want to know about the purchase it, just go over. Is it on your?
It's on our website, permapasturefarm.com. Yeah. You can check it out there. We got comfrey for sale. We got all kinds of good stuff, and we're going to be adding more. But honestly, I can't say thanks enough to this kind man and his lovely wife for letting the whole world know that we are doing this, and we are probably the first people. I know we're the only people on the planet that have it in the formulation that we have, and we'll stand behind it. So, yeah, let me not hold you up. It looks like you got your biggest fans out there want to know what you're up to today. Folks, can I just tell them about that fish you made?
Oh, yeah.
Good night, y'all. Hey, I'm here to tell y'all, tonight I ate the best fish and hush puppies on planet Earth. And having grown up in Oklahoma, believe me, y'all, I've eaten my fair share of catfish and whatnot. This was on another level. I don't know how much you're willing to give up, Danny, but I'm telling you what, y'all, this fish is my favorite meat of all, and I can't even eat anything coming out of the ocean anymore for obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah, with the poisons and the toxins in the ocean, yeah.
So when I sat here and ate, to me, what was the best catfish I ever had and hush puppies in my life, there you go. I don't know what else to do, folks. That was incredible.
Well, the thing about it is it was all done here. We raised our own corn. We ground our own corn flour. We raised our own fish. We built our own pond. We raised our own fish. We butchered our own fish, and we cooked it in our own home rendered lard. Like I told Billy in a previous podcast video we shot, the only thing that we didn't purchase for that meal, I mean, what we did purchase for that meal was the salt.
Salt.
Literally, the salt is all that we had to buy to go with it, and I think it turned out pretty well. I mean, one of the secrets to catfish to me is don't cook it in big, huge chunks.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you what, that stuff, it was like I was in the middle of a York peppermint patty commercial, y'all. I'm telling you, like, I'm sitting there like, oh, good night. And I'm trying not to look like a complete hog.
Yeah, it's good, though.
No, because everybody else has got to eat. And I'm like, good night, man. I'm really not wanting to misbehave here, but I am about to lose my mind eating this fish because I love fish. Haven't been able to eat it in forever and a day. And then them hush puppies. What was the story on those? Because that I ain't never tasted hush puppies like that.
Well, it's home raised onions. We raised the onions here ourselves. We ground the corn flour to make them out of. They were cooked in the home rendered lard, and they had some little small pieces of bell pepper in them that we raised here. I mean, it just everything was totally organically raised here, and no chemicals was used on anything. And then that's, to me, that makes a difference. It makes a total difference to me.
Well, it definitely did to me, because I said it before in that podcast, but I felt like that little yellow Pokemon, Pikachu or whatever they call that thing, little fat yellow Pokemon that the kids watch.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, man. I ate like my belly button was touching my backbone because that stuff was fantastic. I was eating at a certain point just because it just tasted so delicious, y'all. And I've eaten my share of catfish and hush puppies, but never like this.
Well, the thing about it is I don't like catfish if it has a fishy taste.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, everything that we've caught out of our ponds, we've not found anything that had a fishy taste to it.
So my boy said he never had hush puppies.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody said, not a real farm. That's Jan. She's up in Canada. We were telling you about our good friend Jan that has the dome greenhouse.
Oh, well, yeah, we're just talking about you.
Yeah.
Real pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, she's never had a hush puppy. Basically.
Hey, son.
Oh, bro, that's William jumping in there. It's basically the same thing, Jan, as a fritter. If you've ever had a fritter or something like it, it's almost the same thing. I mean, it's just not made out of flour. It's made out of corn flour, not wheat flour.
I don't know. If I had to guess, if I wondered what manna from heaven tasted like in the desert, if I was one of those Hebrews.
Well, that's taking it kind of far now.
I said it, you'll never make pancakes.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, if that stuff fell down from heaven, y'all want to see a man do a Walter Houston dance, you're going to see it. But man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your. Yeah. The whole world needs to know about what you got going on with this fish and hush puppies.
Well, I tell you what, it's as fresh as I've ever ate. I'll put it that way. I've never. Now, guys, we 4 of us ate tonight on 2 fish.
Wow.
2 fish.
Good night.
1-year-old fish in that pond. From yesterday, from last week, it was 1 year from the day we put them fish in there.
I'll tell you what, I'd have ate all 7 fish and loaves if they tasted like that. I'd ate it all by myself because that was absolutely delicious.
Yeah, one of the fish was a little over 2 pounds, and the other one was 4 pounds or something. Yeah. And we got to witness Michelle this afternoon caught her first catfish. Yeah, it wasn't a huge catfish. It was about, I don't know, about a ½ pound, maybe a little bit more. It was a young one that we had hatched out and raised in there. But she caught her first catfish. And believe it or not, as hard as I've tried to catch bass in my back pond, I fail. Michelle comes out and she catches the first bass right off the bat. And I'm talking about a nice pound and a half bass. And then I come down there, and Wanda has my 5-pound carp laying up on the pier. She's caught this 26-inch carp laying up on the pier, and I'm looking at her, I'm going like, Wanda, what are you doing? These eat our grass. And she goes, he just bit the hook. And then I look, and Michelle's caught one. But, it's because we're fishing with grub worms that we're actually getting out from under our hay. Billy saw today how we get the grub worms out from under the hay. And it just... it works, guys. That's all I can say is it works. And we have, 471 people watching. Not even half of them have hit a thumbs up. Guys, if you hit a thumbs up, it puts us in a new algorithm so that YouTube will actually promote these videos more than they do now. So, I encourage you, hit the thumbs up button. I have a friend, Mark, over at Weatherman Plus, who we love his weather. I mean, he does the best weather that I've ever had. He always makes a comment, and I'm thankful that he does. You share the video with someone who can use it, or if not, if you don't want to share it with somebody who can use it, then hit the thumbs up button, and YouTube will do it for you. So I think that's probably the best advice we can give anyone, is to do that. And guys, go check out Billy Perma Pasture Farm's video. I mean, they got lots of videos. I mean, chicken tractors on steroids. I mean, they're making their compost. They got 18 days compost, 30-day compost. They're raising sheep on the place. I mean, we're talking about on steep terrain. They're doing this in some pretty steep terrain at a pretty high elevation. And, I find it amazing y'all are able to do that.
Well, I find it amazing what's going on here. I mean, this is such a joy to come here and see that you have orchards. I mean, that's my biggest passion is probably animals and orchards. Because honestly, with the orchards, it's passive food production, and it seems like, I don't know why, but maybe you can answer. Why is it so many homesteaders don't understand the value of passive food production like orchards? I never understood that. I never understood why more people don't grow trees.
I don't know. It's one of the best. I mean, we grow lots of trees here. I mean, that's one of our things. And some people are asking the question here. They're saying, please, if I put the bone sauce on my fence, will it keep the possums from getting my chickens? You know, I mean,
I don't know. There's a fair amount of testing that still needs to be done on this as far as the full extent. The only thing I do know is that it does work. It does work very, very well on deer, so well that I got to go to the top of my mountain just to go hunting. So that's one thing. I know it works on rabbits. And now I got a couple of select people that have hit me up about groundhogs. And I'm going to put out a video here soon showing you what you can do with a certain method. I'm going to show you the best way I know how to do it when it comes to maybe finding out what'll work on some of these other critters. Now, I know it's a good investment for a lot of people to spend that. I mean, money is not as plentiful today as it once was. There is such a thing as inflation. But like you said, I mean, I myself, I mean, I invented this method of doing this, and even I don't know the full extent of how far you can go with it. So, you know, deer, rabbits, I can guarantee that. Everything else, I'm still in the testing mode.
Yeah, people are asking tons. Does the bone saws work for squirrels? I don't know. I don't know if it affects squirrels or not. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The squirrels are not eating the persimmons in the tree. I know that.
Would they ordinarily?
Before they were, but I won't sit here and say that they do. What about armadillos? Armadillos, I doubt. I mean, I don't know. Armadillos, I don't know. I wouldn't even know. I mean, like Billy said, we don't have enough testing to know what it will actually keep away. I know.
I can vouch for a couple of things. I have strong suspicions that it may work on others. The only thing, and like I said, I got people out there testing it right now, and some that are going to be getting my recommendations for testing concerning groundhogs and some of these other things. Now, there's always going to be outliers. There's some people that,
and we usually see some foxes under it. This year, I have not seen the first of any of them. And we put the bone sauce on the tree itself, and we put the bone sauce on some rags hanging in the trees. And yes, guys, I know YouTube. I probably said something. They do this to me every week. They stop my channel.
Yeah, they do. I'm usually on the other end of it.
Yeah, they do it, and it'll freeze it, and then it'll stop. And they do it to me. There's some keywords in some algorithm I probably have went into a word that I probably shouldn't have used. And usually it just it irritates me to no end.
I can imagine. I'm trying to. It honestly drives me crazy to do this tap dance, because honestly, I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, I understand we have a First Amendment, but I also understand that this is a platform. At the end of the day, it's just kind of aggravating, because it's not as if the people on the other end don't know exactly what you're saying when you when you do this, or when you say certain things. They know what it really means. So, I mean, you know, knock yourself out if you're going to knock us off for that. I can't.
Well, I mean, just this week, I don't know if you saw this or not. Just this week, YouTube put out an announcement that that if you talk about the they will pull your channel, or they will pull the videos. You know, they said this week they're going to stop. You know, they don't want all the misinformation out there about it. And, you know, it is what it is.
Misinformation or disinformation, or is it just information?
Yeah. I mean, I've learned doing my Saturday Night Lives, if I use certain words within a few seconds, I
noticed that too. Yeah, I'm trying to do everything I can, because it's not in my nature to muzzle myself, especially when it's speaking truth to power. And I know it's definitely not in your best interest, but at the end of the day, you know, I think you got smart. I think you got some of the smartest.
A lot of people talk about it, need to go over to Rumble and all that. Guys, look, I'm on the other side of this thing, and I can honestly tell you right now, they're fixing to hit everybody. It's not there's not going to be a platform where you cannot talk about it. They're going to hit them all, and it's just going to well, somebody said it started buffering when we said truth and power.
Well.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know, what do you fertilize lemon, orange, plum, and mayhaw trees with, when, and how? Lemons and oranges are self-pruning trees. They don't have to be pruned as often. The big thing with lemons and oranges and plums and stuff like that is pH. Make sure the pH is right on those trees. I don't care how much fertilizer you put out. If the soil pH is not right, the tree is not going to survive. It's not going to do what it needs to do. So first off, get the right pH. Go online and look up what the pH needs to be for the particular lemon, plum, or orange, or whatever it is that you have. Get that pH right first. Get you a tester, test the pH, and then after that point, examine the leaves. If you've got variegated leaves and you see the necrosis taking place in the veins of the leaves, and the veins are dark green, and you see these yellow trenches in between the veins of the leaves, you automatically know you're either low in magnesium or something to this nature. Your your nitrogen is off. Or if you start to see some purple tint in your leaves, you know you've got a phosphorus issue. I mean, guys, you just got to do the research. It's out there. Study the leaves of the trees. Once you get the pH right, study the leaves. I can't sit here and tell you in your soil type what fertilization is going to work for your trees, because your soil type may be different than mine, and you're going to have to examine the leaves of the trees. Now, you can go online and you can pull up the leaves of fruit trees and deficiencies, and it'll tell you just by looking at the leaves. One person here said they got their orange tree leaves are curling. That's a common sign. Mine do it here. It's an insect issue. The only way you're going to really beat that is to spray it with some sort of chemical. It's an insect that actually causes it. One of them is an insect that causes it, and then the other is a nutritional deficiency of the tree. So you just got to do some homework. I can't give you an accurate answer for your location. Do I stratify your seeds to test the germination? Depending on what type of seed you use, stratification is not necessary with all seeds. Some seeds need to have scarfing done. Some seeds need stratification. In my opinion, I've tried stratifications, especially on things like garlics and stuff like that need to go through a certain amount of dormancy under cold temperatures. I've put them in refrigerators. I've experimented and done all this kind of stuff. My experience is it doesn't work. You can do stratification with a refrigerator. It does not work. The best thing to do is choose a variety for your climate that grows good. I've tried probably 12 different styles of garlic here, and there's really only one of them that does good, and that's elephant garlic. So it's just, you got to just experiment and then to see. It says y'all need to contact your local university extension office to know what works in your area. There's some truth to that, but even a lot of your local extension offices are actually inaccurate in some manner. I can contact mine here, and they will tell me that, oh, apple trees grow great here. You can do this apple, this apple, and this apple. That doesn't work here. You've got to go 30 miles north of here for it to work, because the information we have here comes from the University of Southern Mississippi, which is up in central Mississippi, and it does not work for my zone and my climate right here. Only 2 apples will grow here at the time. One is actually say 3 of them. One is an Ein Shamir from Israel. The other one is a Gala apple, not a Gala, an Ein Shamir, a Dorset Golden, and an Anna. Those are the only 3 apples here that will grow and make apples on a regular basis.
My brother is in Deep South.
Is he?
My brother, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Right there from Metcalf Mills.
Oh, Metcalf is on here. Is he there with William?
He might be. They're probably at my house.
I bet he's there with William.
He's probably at William.
Yeah.
Him and William sitting there at my house, sitting there, probably eating something delicious, I hope, and as good as that catfish I had tonight. I can promise you that.
Levi's asking, how are the ponds? Well, Billy ate some catfish tonight out of the ponds, and I'm telling you, we enjoyed it. That's all I can say.
I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if that's not strong enough. It was absolutely delicious. And when I see Michelle, who normally eats like a bird, and she's sitting there like just hoping and praying somebody to grab them last 2 hush puppies.
I saw you slide that bowl over there. I saw that. Yeah.
Go ahead. Miss Wanda says, "Oh, I had my fill." Yeah, those ponds are legit, y'all. And what's really astonishing, how from the time you had them done till the time you're harvesting meat out of there.
1 year, exactly 1 year.
Okay, how many different? And that's a passive meat production.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we're talking about. I mean, I can't eat enough fish out of those ponds now. You know, we've got to collectively start taking more fish out than what we're taking. You know, in order for them to be sustainable.
Night. Well, I'm telling you what, I would sit here and jump on that in a heartbeat, y'all. I mean that. I don't mean to keep going on about it, but honestly, it's the best catfish I ever had in my life, and the best hush puppies I ever had in my life, right here. So you're probably going to have a ton of people descending down here. But yeah, I mean, how cool is that? You got a pond that does all these cool things, and at the same time, you're able to passively harvest meat. You didn't have to rotate them. You didn't have to do anything. Just go out there and let fish be fish.
Yeah. He says, we done. We eat it, bro.
We don't eat it, bro.
All right, they don't eat it.
I was telling Danny about what he does there as far as making these stones, and telling him, hey, you might want to be able to put one together for Mr. Danny here.
Oh, I love Justin. I mean, we actually have an overflow on our pond. I was showing Billy here about this afternoon that I could put a water wheel on that overflow to possibly run my cane mill with. And who knows, maybe even put a generator of some type on it to produce some amount of electricity or something with. But I was telling Wanda, this has been like 2 weeks ago. It was amazing you brought this up today, that we might divert some of that water off to the side through the overflow and actually construct a water wheel, which I've never done, don't know anything about it.
He's done them. He's done them. He's got them right there.
That's what Justin, Billy was telling me, that Justin here from Metcalf Mills knows all about this. And I entertain that. I definitely would entertain that thought of actually creating something like that.
It is his bread and butter. We had the real good fortune of going out the other day, not long before we came here, got to tear down a mill, and then honestly watch him break this thing down, and to see, for me, the astonishing thing, and you as a historian, as a fellow historian, it's kind of cool to be able to hold this history. This is living history that works and can put food in your belly. That's the best kind of history in the world to me.
He says he actually just picked up a cider mill.
Wow.
We have a cider mill here, but it's a hand operated one. It's not, you know.
This is more that 8th generation mountain wisdom that's coming down the road from me. So, I mean, how cool would it be, since you can't necessarily go to the mountains, it'd be kind of cool to take the mountains down to you.
That's what was my thinking. I'm just going to bring it to me. I mean, that's the only thing I know to do.
I would lose. The only thing, if you had a water wheel here, Danny, I'm telling you what. I mean, as if I could not think that this place was any more the consummate definition, not only in the South, but I'm telling you, on planet Earth, y'all. This is it, right here. Right here. Deep South is where permaculture is alive and well, and done probably better here than just about any other place on the planet. And to be able to see you, if you put a water wheel in this thing,
that's a dream of mine.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd.
Because I mean, you know, you watch the video. I've got the little electric grinder that we grind our meal with. To be able to do it with stone and a water wheel, I'd live in the building.
Yeah. I'd love to see the building you built.
Wanda couldn't get me out of the building. You know, I mean, she'd be like, "Where is?" He's at the building again. I'd sit there and just watch the water wheel. I mean, I wouldn't even have to have it hooked to nothing. I would just sit and watch the water turn the water wheel.
Well, the apocalypse doesn't happen. Okay, did I just get us kicked off?
No, well, maybe not.
Okay, if
that was an acrostic, YouTube.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, if the Acropolis doesn't come, I think you all can read between the lines. Yeah. Man, wouldn't that be something to see happen down here?
Oh, it would. I think it would be great.
You have any water mills around the South?
No. Now there's one about an hour and a half north of here. It's up at a place called Dunn Falls, between here and Laurel. And I don't know if it actually still works or not. I mean, there used to be one up there. There's a big waterfall up there, and I don't know if they still have it there or not. Mr. Danny has a new project. Water wheel coming soon. Well, Heidi.
Oh, it's out now.
Poor Miss Wanda. She's. I've almost projected her out.
Really?
I think I have.
Well, I noticed she didn't come back in here and sit down in this chair.
You figured it out quickly. What did I tell you?
She got herself.
She's in here with Michelle, and I knew when she set you down here, I was like, she ain't coming back.
They're out there gossiping right now. Ain't no telling, probably talking about us. And then she done jumped up out. Oh, just sit here. I'll be right back. I just need to run to the bathroom. I knew right off that wasn't happening.
Yep.
Yeah, they got me again. But, you know, if that's the price I got to pay to eat catfish like that, y'all, I'm happy to pay it.
Yeah, Country Homestead Preacher, I think it's Brother Donnie will think, maybe says, do we watch the Appalachian Stories by Donnie Law? Yes, I do. I love Donnie's way of telling the stories. Some of them I find totally hilarious that he does. And yes, I do watch him. I watch a lot of the Appalachian videos. I watch, and I'm not going to sit here and call the names of them because, you know, I really don't know. I really don't want people to know where I'm at on YouTube, you know, because if you start telling people everywhere you watch, then they go to all these videos and they want to know, well, what's he up to? Is this what he's watching? Let's just put it this way. I watch Appalachian videos. I'm not going to tell you whether they're in Kentucky. I'm not going to tell you whether they're in Virginia or North Carolina or Alabama or where I watch these videos from, but I do watch Appalachian videos.
And nothing feels more like home than see. I don't know where it is. No matter where you are, it's kind of hard not to feel. I don't know, because we talked a little bit. It's kind of know where we left off in the podcast and where we are here. But both of us have always had this longing to go to the mountains and live there.
Yeah.
And when you look at where our families came from, well, mine from high country in Pennsylvania, native community up there, and yours in the between North and South Carolina.
Yeah, right there in Kings Mountain. Yeah, that's where my family's from.
And you just feel drawn back to that. I think there's something about the lifestyle, the area, everything about it is just. There is no place on earth I would rather live.
Uh-oh. You see what's happening?
Huh? What happened?
Okay, guys. I better pay attention. What are they telling y'all? You know who that is, don't you?
Oh my goodness. Is she out there?
Yeah, she's out there
trolling your own.
She's trolling my own channel.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
You got to be kidding me.
Yep.
The New York Redneck. I got to give him. I've never heard of one of those before.
He's on here all the time, has created a YouTube channel, I believe. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't have a lot of time. You can ask Billy. Billy's been here and seen what goes on. I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of YouTube videos. You know, I mean, I do watch some YouTube videos, but when I do, it's usually around 4 o'clock in the morning. And and by 5 I'm cooking breakfast. But I have to take care of our YouTube channel. You know. See, Wanda says I got to finish the projects that I've already got started before I can do anything else.
I understand, but my goodness, I mean, I don't know how this place. I mean, you live in a house that looks like the one that Thomas Jefferson created. You live in a property that honestly looks like it's carved, and it didn't just happen. You had to work hard to make it happen. And it's, I mean, extraordinarily hard. You got every permaculture method you can think of, from hugelkultur to zoning. All of it right here, and I can't think of a better place to go learn. Well, Danny was in there cooking the fish. I was out there walking around. I wanted to walk around by myself to kind of commune with nature and see, good night, how do they do all this? And it's been a real joy, a real pleasure to be able to see all this stuff and see it up close and personal. It's one thing because y'all can't possibly convey in these YouTube videos how much you got going on here.
Right.
Because you come here, you can't possibly see it all. Oh my goodness, what's going on here?
It's trolls.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, you always have losers. You know, they come on here and do that kind of stuff.
I look up, man, it looks like the La Bianca murder scene up on this screen. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, you always have that. Oh, we do. Now you may not, but we do. We always have that. And we've got the greatest moderators in the world. I mean, they nail this stuff. I tell them, I said, look, if somebody gets out of line, just ban them.
Is Miss Lippy one of them moderators?
Yeah.
Okay, can you imagine? Can you imagine if she had to verbally talk? Boy, the good cussing she'd give.
Woo! Miss Lippy would take you apart, man. She would take you apart.
What do you think you're saying, boy?
Yeah. You just don't know what it's like unless you're on the other side of Miss Lippy.
Speaking of Miss Lippy, how cool would it be if I could sit down to a meal where Miss Lippy made that bread pudding out of blueberry muffins and you made that fish? Oh, good night.
Oh, Lord.
What do we got here?
I don't know what she's saying.
Oh, she's in there talking to him. Say, hey, we're getting trolled.
We're getting trolled by our own people.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all right. I love Miss Lippy to death, and then lots of people would love her too. I met a lot of people in my life, and I believe she's one of them.
She's extraordinary. I tell you what, that seasoning she came up with. My son was sitting there eating that stuff. He's putting it on everything. Justin gave us some corn on the cob. Sat there, threw it on it. Next thing I know, he's putting it. I mean, I think he's done everything but put it on ice cream. And you can still get it from her Etsy store. Is that where she's selling that? Because
I think so. I think so. I mean, there for a while she had shut it down. But I think she's trying to get it all fired back up.
Good night. That stuff is fantastic.
Oh, let's see here. I haven't been looking at all this stuff here. Oh, Jan from Not a Real Farm says Billy's just obsessed with food.
You got that right.
How many acres do we have, Cindy? We have 10 acres. Where do we get the materials for our greenhouses? From Growers Solutions. We have a link in the description down below. You get a 10% discount if you mention Deep South in the as a promo code. It's a one-time offer, so when you do it, make sure you get all you want to get if you're going to use it. Let's see here. Oh, there's Grizz 270 back. Oh, Grizz, everybody has wondered where you've been, man. I was beginning to wonder if the mountains out there had swallowed you up out west. Everybody's wanting to know, how is Betty? You've seen Betty today running around the field out there. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see here. If I go back. Dirt Rider says, man, I'm canning my own chickens right now. I'm up to 32 pints tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Sustainability. Cool front plus rain equals shrooms. Well, it does. You get mushrooms out of it. I mean, that's one thing.
Seems plenty growing out here.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Jan, yes, I did see the rocks you're taking out of your pond. You're getting ready to make the pond area and all that. Yes, did get to see that. A lot of people saying hey to Grizz. Guys, Billy and I, we've spent a great day today. I mean, really, we've talked, we've discussed a lot of things today.
If we could find one politician to take just, I'd say 0.05% of the problems that I think we solved today, right here.
We solved a lot of the world's issues today. A lot of them, well, I have to be careful about what I say.
Yeah.
But, it's amazing how quickly a lot of them could be solved.
It could be. And you know what? If you got a couple of farmers sitting down in a room, you know what? All of our founding fathers were farmers, so maybe it just takes a few more farmers to get this all worked out.
The truth of the matter is, used to, everybody was a farmer. It didn't matter if you was a doctor, a lawyer, a politician. Everybody had a horse. That's the only way you got around. Everybody had a barn. Everybody raised their own food. I mean, that's how you survived.
Remember on Little House on the Prairie, Doc Baker got paid with chickens.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to that?
Yeah.
Why can't we do that today?
Yeah, well, it ain't Little House on the Prairie. It's Little House in the Hood.
Well, that's true.
Because anymore. And believe me, there ain't no chickens running around the hood. Not for long.
Not for long, he ain't. I don't know. In the world we live in today, they may not even know what it is.
Oh, man.
Well, they wouldn't eat it if they did. Plastic. Yeah, if it didn't come out of plastic already shrink wrap.
That's right.
Let's see here. Cindy said, I looked today at a 5.5 acre mini farm to buy. If it's what you want, you better jump on it and you better do it fast.
Indeed.
Person here, Cindy says, I'm looking for Evelyn Vincent. Anyone know if she is on tonight? I don't know if Evelyn, if you're on, say hey or whatever. Yeah, I can imagine what it'd be like if we all ran for government. What is the best hand crank corn and wheat grinder? Well, that's going to depend. If you're looking for an antique one, the old Black Hawk, you can't hardly beat that. But if you want one of the more modern ones, you better be willing to spend up to $2,000 and $3,000. They are expensive. Levi said he caught his 18-inch bass on a spoonbill lure today. Went to an older fellow's house to unclog a drain in his basement, and we had thousands of jars of meats, vegetable, fruits, and all was canned. I've never seen so many jars in my life. That's yuck food. Well, you hadn't been to Deep South either, have you?
No. I mean, you would find something like that here, y'all. Good night. Boy, them comments are rolling.
I'm sitting here, my eyes. By the time I start reading one, it's already. New York Redneck Prepper said there's 7 acres for sale next to me for $19,000.
What?
Stream on the road front and plenty of springs. Lots of work to put in it, though. You can't get 7 acres for that price down here for nothing.
No.
7 acres down here, it costs you, let's see, between $35,000 and $90,000.
Now, I have seen it in Arkansas. In some places in Arkansas, but it is Arkansas. I mean, so you're going to deal with some of the weather issues in some of those places. And honestly, a lot of these places, because all the land I've ever bought, and I've bought a number of places, have always been done on a handshake deal. Always been some farmer that had to get rid of his back 40 because he bought himself a brand new truck. There are deals to be had, but you better, like Danny said, you better get on it quick, because everybody and their great grandmother's everybody's gone country these days.
Everybody's gone country. Donnie Short said, I got my first deer of the season today. Congratulations. We haven't done that yet. Let's see here. It takes me a moment to read through these. They move so fast. Everybody's saying land. Jan says land prices have tripled where she's at. Oh, Donnie says I didn't catch where to buy the bone sauce. I could really use it. That's this guy right here, Perma Pasture Farm's website.
Yep, just check it out at the website. Do the checkout. We just made a new batch. We got a new improved formulation. We can get that and the comfrey there. But some of the folks were asking about comfrey earlier. They were asking, we sell comfrey root. You can sell the crowns. We don't do that. We're propagating those. And if you do the roots, it might take up to a month for it to come up. So, but once it comes up, it's hard to stop.
Let's see here.
5 acres with a mobile home for $75,000. I never would have thought 10 years ago I'd have called that a deal. Depending on where you are.
Depends on where you're at, yeah. How can I protect my chickens from hawks? Well, you're going to have to put them in a pen, and you're going to have to have a top over it. That's what I'm going to tell you. Our chickens, the hawks never mess with our chickens. Of course, ours stay in a large pen, and we have a wire top over the top of it. We don't just let them go. Now, when we do let them go, like yesterday, well, it's been a week now because it's been raining every day, but they were loose last week. I was on the back patio of the garage grilling. The chickens were right down below me there at the pen, and a hawk came in between me, underneath the roof in there, and he saw me right when he come through it, and he was headed for one of those chickens on the ground, and he diverted and actually flew off to the side. I had a baby chick down there, and he was after that baby chick.
Good night. He was looking for it to make nothing.
Yep.
But another thing that we found, we had a really good livestock guardian dog one time, and I tell you what, you put around them chickens, you didn't lose nothing.
Yep. Somebody wants to know, can I please have Deep South's email? It's deepsouthhomestead. Let's see. It's deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com. And somebody should be able to put it up here. Allison's put up your site and everything, so it shouldn't be a problem. You can train a hawk to deter hawks. Well, I don't know anything about that.
We got crows that run them off.
Oh, yeah.
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 They will absolutely. That's why you want to be nice to them crows. Well, depending on, you're putting corn out and everything, they're not your best friends, but on my place, boy, they sure do a good job keeping them hawks out. 9,000, 15,000 an acre. Wow. 30,000.
Mm.
See, I mean, this is, they ain't making no more of it.
No, that's the thing about it. I mean, we've actually looked for land, just to have extra land for grazing or raising corn or something like that. And it's crazy at what prices of land here. It's just not worth it. And what places we have found, by the time I call, it's gone. You know, it's already gone.
I'm finding luck, and as far as, I mean, there are options out there if you want to rent. If it's for grazing, you know, that's not a bad. You could live in a small 1 acre spot, and like, you know, it ain't a matter of who owns the land. It comes down to who controls it. If I got grazing rights on there, then good. I don't have to take care of the tax burden or none of that stuff.
Exactly.
I'll just do what I gotta do.
Carla Butler said we had to wait 6 months, but our sawmill has arrived. Happy dance.
Awesome. I'm dancing with you.
New York redneck purpose. I never would have believed New York land would become cheaper than the South. Yeah, land here in Mississippi is outrageous. That was one reason that we were looking for land. You know, some places outside of Mississippi is because land here is just outrageously high.
What part of New York are you in where it's less expensive than?
New York redneck. I don't know what part of New York. Where I'm at, it's about $2 million an acre.
Good. Nice.
Houses are huge. I got a quarter of an acre here and 20 in the hills, where it's $500 to $1,000 an acre. Red Mississippi deer have blue tongue, hemorrhagic fever, death problem. Is that true in our area? No, Carol. We had a problem with blue tongue here many years ago. Most of them have died out, and we don't, not to my notion. I haven't heard anything about it if we do have it.
I love to hear this thing here. 14 pints of apples canned. Good night. It's apple season up there, and I got to say, the best apple I've ever tasted in my life. They got up there. It's called the Evercrisp. Good night.
I'm familiar with that apple. It's good. It really is good.
My goodness, that thing's on another planet. Can't wait to pick some here in another week. I think I can go down there and get me some.
Gail said nobody in their right mind would move to New York. Been there, done that. Would never do it again. I've worked in New York. I've lived just outside of New York. And that was back pre 9/11. Wasn't bad back then. Actually, I never met any bad people up there, to be honest with you. They were all very kind people. But now I don't know what it's like up there now.
Well, I can tell you, I just talked to my brother-in-law the other day. He lives up there. All her family lives in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And in parts of Pennsylvania, which they call Pennsyltucky. And I'm sitting there talking to him the other day, talking about his escape plan. He's thinking he's better do his 3 Gs, gold, guns, and a getaway plan, because it's getting just plain stupid up there with the things that are going on. And I won't say any more than that, but you can read between the lines.
Yep. Where can we buy land and have no problems living totally off grid? Well, that'd be a good luck on that one. You probably could find some in Missouri if you're really lucky. Not every county in Missouri. That's the thing about it. I learned looking for land up here, you've got to look at the codes in every county.
That's right. If you're anywhere near Kansas City and St. Louis, forget about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even here where I live in southern part of Mississippi, you're not allowed to live off-grid, because there's one rule that prevents it. You must have a smoke detector that is, and you're an electrician, you'll understand this. You must have a smoke detector that's hooked to electricity, and it must have electricity and battery. And they say if you're living off-grid, there's no electricity. But I told them, I said, if I've got a solar station and solar panels all hooked up, I have electricity.
But
insane. They won't accept that.
That is absolutely insane. In some of the areas we lived in small towns in Kansas, up near the border. We've had a place up there, and they find some way. In those cases, it's always been the septic. That's the one thing that they keep, to use you, tethered in there. They didn't even. Yours is the first place I've heard about for that reason. I know that there have got to be others, but
Yeah.
typically it's the septic, and all the places we've seen is that's where they keep you tethered one way or the other, or they say you got to have water out there. Well, okay, why are you worried about whether or not I got water? I can get it off this roof if I want to.
Yeah, exactly. I do rain catchment.
Yeah, but that's not good enough. You got to be on their, be on their source.
There's other rules here where I live at, like you can't have an outhouse if you have a pump or a well on the property. But if you don't have a well or a pump on the property, you can have an outhouse. My neighbor lives 50 yards across the fence from me. He has a well. But I can have an outhouse on mine 50 feet from him. That's because I own the property, and he's not. But if he owned it, he couldn't have it.
Insanity. We sat there in Texas using composting toilets, making humanure. Now, granted, I wouldn't put it on my vegetable garden, but it can be done. I mean,
yeah,
all these things. And the urine we use to get rid of stumps, we do that to this day. We drill holes in stumps. And if you want to see a stump go away in record time, pee on it. Because the nitrogen in you reacts with the carbon there and breaks it down.
Breaks it down really fast. Truth Believer says, Danny, what do you think about buying land in Kentucky? Now, guys, I have nothing against Kentucky, but it's the last place on earth I want to live. Mainly because of the governor and the elected officials. You got people like, I'm probably fixing to go into buffering zone.
It's coming.
It's coming. You got people like Mitch McConnell and all them kind of people up there. And that governor and all that kind of stuff, I don't want nothing to do with them people. I would not live there just because of that reason.
Would that be the state you want to live in least?
Least. One of the least ones.
Oh, okay.
And not only that, they're putting in these big, huge greenhouses up there that grows tons of food, and it's all AI operated. See that red popping in down there now? Yeah, they'll be telling me it's buffering here in a minute. But they got these new greenhouses going in. They're totally AI. There's just, there's lots going on in there that I just don't. It sounds great, but the people backing it is your Wall Street people.
So at the end of the day, it's probably certainly not in the best interest of anybody in this room.
Yeah, exactly. Danny, you're going to buffer. New York must be second there. Now this Metcalf Mill says, now I gotta go find me a stump now.
It works. Yeah, check out that one near the barn, Justin.
What would I tell you? Lost you. Buffering.
Wow,
buffering.
Right on cue.
Well, I tell you, it's right on cue.
Good night.
That's the algorithm. They picked it up that fast.
Man, we got to come up with phonetic ways of saying just about everything. But, the cool thing is you can still convey the points without actually saying it. So is that all a result of your expose on Kentucky?
Yeah, I mean, well, now that's a good thing calling Farmer Gates, because he bought up all the land. We could use Farmer Gates,
Or you could say Farmer Gates of Hell, because that's about the. Oh, cool. They can't possibly censor that at this point.
No, but it's amazing what all they're going to come up with to do. What about Alabama and off-grid? I don't know that much about Alabama, to be honest with you. I haven't lived in Alabama, so I don't know what the rules and regulations are. It could be different anywhere. You can go to central Mississippi and live off-grid all you want. It just depends on what county you're in. Every county has different rules. And you have to determine which county you're in, and what they're making you do.
See, in our county, a lot of it's like nobody's asking for permission, and I love that environment. I love it where, you go to sell that place, and you come to find out there's 5 more buildings out there. I was talking to one of my realtor buddies up there, and that's what he said. And nobody's really caring, because at the end of the day, that government which governs least is the best.
Yeah.
I think is how Thomas Jefferson put it. Oh, look here, you got a tail.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Gerald. Gerhard, we really appreciate that. Danny, have you ever used Surewall concrete? No, I don't believe I have. Donnie, I don't believe I've ever used that. Of course, it might be his wife, Jennifer. I don't know. It could be one or the other.
Oh, you see that leftover fish is great for breakfast? I wouldn't know, because we done ate it all.
I don't think there was any left over, was there?
I don't
I think we ate every piece of it.
We ain't gonna. Hey, that's like you. The world may never know. It's like getting to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop.
That's it. That's true. Georgia Gal, Billy and I just made a podcast a while ago. We just made a new podcast. So if y'all are interested in it, don't know what day next week it'll be coming up. Hopefully Monday we'll have it up, and we'll have our podcast up on that.
I wish you had been doing that a while back, honestly. Or you could even take your porch time and turn that into a podcast if you ever wanted to. I thought.
No, we were doing it on Flashback Fridays. We're pulling back some of the old ones that was really good ones, and we're actually doing them.
They're all really good, in my opinion. Good night. I mean, these things are fantastic. Yeah, they could have been a podcast from the word go, but I got a feeling your podcast is going to do exceptionally well.
Right now we're doing okay. I mean, we don't make any money on it. It's just something that we do. We have a lot of our subscribers that said, hey, we'd like to be able to just listen to you, because we just listen to you when we work anyway. It'd be great if you could do a podcast where we could download it. That way we're able to just continue our work, and we can listen to you while we're working. And that's why we do it.
Is it a plan B for when maybe all this might go away? It means for people
YouTube is a means for the end for us. I hate to say that on the air here, but it is in a lot of reality. We know that YouTube probably won't be here forever, and what we're trying to do is go ahead and move our way over into some other areas. And when we do the podcast, it's basically about a simpler life, and we want to try to steer people from being under anxiety and just turmoil and frustration all the time, and move them over to what it used to be like to live in a simpler life and time. Because if we don't record this stuff, people will never know what it was like to live a simple life. Because we don't know today. A lot of the people that's below 50 years old have no clue what it was like to live when things were really good. And there's so many things that I grew up with that just doesn't exist anymore.
That's a fact. I mean, you could ride your bike from dawn till dusk in the middle of summer, just come back for the, you didn't have to worry about somebody snatching you up and throwing you in a van, and then you wake up missing a kidney somewhere in a bathtub.
Right.
These days, you can't even let your kids just go out and play without some kind of supervision. So yeah, I love that tone of your podcast, where, like you said, it brings you back to a simpler time, where you get back to the nuts and bolts of things. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason for it. I mean, and plus I've experienced a lot of things in life, and I like being able to share that with people. And if you notice on my podcast, I changed my tone of voice completely.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
I do. I changed my tone of voice. I've always had a very commanding type of voice, because it's what I did as I grew up. I was always commanding things. And if you're not careful, even in your marriage, that'll pull over into your marriage, even when you're talking to your wife or anything like that. I have to be very careful, because my voice will actually sound like I'm being rude or something.
I don't know that it comes across. I think I like people when they're direct, but I was a little bit concerned at first. I was like, hold on, is this NPR? No, I'm kidding. I didn't at all think that. No, it wasn't NPR at all, but I like the idea that it's toned down, and that you kind of, you almost create visions, like you're weaving a tapestry for the listener, where you feel like you're in the woods with you. You feel like I'm at the pond with you.
Yeah, that's when I try to create it in a way that it's like you're walking right beside me. Mm-hmm. We visually can't see me sitting here, and that's one thing I like about it, is the fact that you can't visually see me. So you have to, in your mind, you have to visualize what I'm talking about, and in my mind, I try to visually walk you through this whole thing.
Theater of the mind, for real.
Yeah, and a lot of people have sent back messages going, gosh, it's like we were just walking through the woods together today, or we were sitting on the pier at the pond together today. Mm-hmm. And you got to sit out there with us today. You got to see the fish striking the water, and
real joy.
I mean, the rain falling on the pond while we were out there. I mean, it was really it was great. And Brooks believes like you do there. She says, sometimes the truth is harsh. And sometimes it just needs to be said. But you always have those people that can't take the truth, and when you start trying to tell them the truth, they just get all beside themselves.
Well, it's been that way for 2,500 years or more. I mean, it goes all the way back to Plato's allegory of the cave, that most people are content to believe this false reality than face the truth, which is hard. It is tough, but I'd rather know the truth so that I can prepare for it.
Yeah, I think that. Well, we both feel that way, really. Oh, Sinclair. That's actually Sinclair. He's a friend of ours in Missouri. He tried to use emojis on YouTube. Well, I guess they must have stopped it. Oh, time alert. Put up your prayer request. Yes, Deborah. It's it is 9:09. We've been here an hour and 9 minutes.
You notice Miss Wanda never walked back in this room.
She didn't come back in there. She had a plan from get go, which is okay. That's okay.
That was hilarious.
But anyway, guys, yes, put up your prayer request tonight. If you got someone that needs to be prayed for, we always try to keep those prayers in remembrance. Let's see here. See if I read any. Read the book of Micah. Lots of accurate info. Actually, I have read most of the book of Micah. I've read the book of Enoch, the book of Noah. The book of Maccabees. I read most all these books.
Until now, I didn't even know there was a book in Micah. I read you read the book of Giants and all that too?
I've read most all those books. Yeah.
So all those apocryphal books.
Yeah, we have a book that has all the apocryphas in it. Let's see here. Pray that Biden can hold out so that we don't have to deal with it. I ain't even going to answer that.
Does it make a difference?
I don't. Really? I think it would be worse. I'm almost in agreement with that, but my mom will lose her job December the 1st. Well, don't quit. Make them fire you.
That's right.
Don't quit.
Had a bunch of friends hit me up recently about that very thing. They all got canned, and one of them has his daughter. She's in tears, totally beside herself. Well, Danny, the thing that's curious, 9 times out of 10, these people that have the people that I know that have the biggest argument against doing any of that with the what. Honestly, sadly, the thing that comes down to it, the reason a lot of them acquiesce and fall in line has to do with I want to travel, or I really like my things so much. I'll tell you right now, I'll be eating out of dumpsters before I ever participate. I can promise you that. I am content to eat out of dumpsters before that happens, and it seems like a lot of people are just content to maintain their lives no matter what.
Well, that's the whole thing. Most people are not willing to. Well, the Apostle Paul said, "I've learned that whatsoever state I'm in, therewith to be content." I've learned to abase with a little. I've learned to abase with a lot. And I think that's where we get used to a particular lifestyle, and we don't want to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to deal with.
I don't know what I'd do if I didn't get to eat this fish again.
Mr. Danny, what are your thoughts on dark winter? Billy and I talked
about... good night. Good night.
Oh, God, my eyes are burning. We talked about that today, Billy and I did. Actually, I probably can't go into any kind of in-depth here, but I do believe that, how can I say this? I believe it's going to happen. Let's put it that way. I'm waiting for the new you-know-what to be released later this year. And I do believe it'll happen. So let's, if it don't happen this year, it'll happen in the spring of next year.
Shakespeare said it best in Richard III, now is the winter of our discontent.
Yeah.
So, maybe that was a little more foreshadowing of what we might see. And it's sad that we can't even just tell everybody what we... a lot of people could probably benefit greatly with what you and I discussed earlier, but you can't say it in here.
I can never say in here what you and I talk about. No. I could never do it. They would pull me in a heartbeat.
You think, boy, they'd pull us both. I mean,
Brooke has probably said it best. dark winter is people with no jobs and no food. That's what it's going to be like. If you ever see any of these simulations of videos and stuff like that where people are dying from hunger and things like that, it's always like a dark, gloomy scene. It's almost like it's wintertime. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, Danny, that I wish I'd have told you this earlier. I can't believe I'm thinking of telling you now. There's a guy out there. His name is Matt, and they're doing the Back to the Land Festival. Mm-hmm. And he's become something of a permaculture designer himself. And he says the two most recent, and you're going to be floored by this, the two most recent people that wanted a design for their property had to do with the fact that in one case her husband just lost their job, and they wanted to create a sanctuary in that part of Tennessee for families that refuse to fall in line, and now that they're homeless, they can now go to. That's two people that they were designing their property for in Kentucky. They wanted to be something of a safe. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but a safe place for people that no longer have homes. So I mean, that may be that winter of discontent, this dark winter. There's people already looking ahead, and they're saying, okay, maybe we'll be an oasis for those people out there that ain't got nowhere to go.
Yeah. Cindy, yes, this is Billy from Perma Pasture Farms, from a YouTuber. Okay, guys, we fixing to have to, oh, good Lord, pray for my grandson. He's getting into Satanism. I would definitely have to remember that. I hate to hear that. But, guys, we've got to get off from here. Billy's got to get a lot of rest tonight. We got a lot to do in the morning. And we've got to, we've done a lot today. I've been in front of the screen here so long, my eyes are
I know you got to get
bloodshot. Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Let's see. Patera has been affected. Dark winter. Her husband has some physical issues with his heart, so I know that. Anyway, we got to pray, guys. We're going to go ahead and pray, and then we're going to jump off here. Father, we do thank you tonight for giving us such a great group of people. You know, we had a few trolls, but that's to be expected, Lord. They were all dealt with. And Father, we appreciate the fact that you spend your time with us here. And tonight, I want to pray for a lot of people here tonight who's mentioned that they either have lost their jobs or that they're going to lose their jobs. And Father, I pray that you give them the strength to stand tall, to stand firm. And Lord, not to quit, but to make them fire on, Father, if it comes down to that point. And Lord, I do pray that if it does happen, that you'll open up a new door, a new avenue for them, that they'll have even a better opportunity and a better life and a better job than they had in the beginning. And sometimes it takes these things for us to have our eyes open. So we're praying for all these people. A lot of people in here have mentioned they have family and loved ones that have Pestilence 19. And Father, we pray for them because, hey, it is a real situation. We're not making light of it in any aspect. It's extremely real. We know it's real. We're praying for healing for their bodies tonight now, so that they'll be able to get back to their normal everyday routines and give them the abilities to get away from the protocol and be able to find the right things that they need to be able to heal their bodies now. We do have some people in here tonight who have family members that have physical issues. Some of them have financial issues that has to be dealt with. Some of them's already lost their jobs and have financial issues. So we pray, Lord, that you will bless them financially and help them to find a way to be sustainable and hold on through this horrible time that we're experiencing as a nation now. So go with each and every one of us tonight, Lord. Help us to rest good. Help us to find the joy, the peace, and the happiness that we talk about on our podcasts and over on Patreon, Lord. How we talk about the better things of life and how that they can be achieved. And Lord, how that we can find we talked about on Porch Time, how that we can find the things in life that we need to be thinking upon so that we're able to live a better life. Bless Billy, bless Michelle as they travel home tomorrow. Give them traveling mercies, Lord, and help them to be able to arrive home safely. And thank you for the enjoyed trip that they've had here. Thank you for the fellowship we've had. Go with us all. Guide and direct us throughout the night. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Got to get off of here. got to sign off. Ms. Wanda's not with me tonight, so I'm here doing this tonight by myself. And it's not like I have to have all this, but anyway, guys, we'll see.